How does the liberalism that you write about, that's a liberalism of values, of morality, of eloquence, of literature, relate to the liberalism of free trade, so-called, economics, capitalism, empire, everything that we've seen also grew up in that same period?
Right. I lived in France long enough to live in a culture where liberalism only means the second thing. It just means what they call savage liberalism, free trade and free economics. And have lived in America long enough to know the other sense of it, that is equality and freedom for all, which is in another part of the French sense too. It's one of the big, it's one of the great questions of their time and our time. That is, can you believe in individual freedom without subscribing entirely to the notion of a free market? I will confess, Laura, that after I left Philadelphia, I moved to Canada. And I don't see this as a real issue. That is to say, the history of the 20th century, of the successful part of the 20th century, has been the growth of individual freedom and the growth of social democracy. My passion in life, my one political passion is for healthcare. Having lived in Canada for as long as I did, for single-payer, socialized medicine, all those horrible things. Does this interfere in any sense with the liberalism that we value? That is, the liberalism of free speech, equal rights, and so on? Hasn't anywhere in the world that I'm aware of. So I think that certainly as an historical fact, those two things grew up together. As a historical possibility, we can reform one as much as we want to without endangering the other in any way.
We seem to have a culture that often plays a sort of zero-sum game. If that person over there gets some, then you're probably going to lose some.
This is tragically so. You have to believe at some point. One of the shocking things about living in a free market society is it has no memory, total amnesia, right? So what we're living through right now, we have lived through many, many times before. It is an inevitable consequence of the cycles of capitalism, for good or ill. And the answer is we know how to make it better, and we know how to fix it. Things right now are much better in Canada than they are in the United States. And they're better in Canada for a lot of reasons, but one reason is because we have a much stronger social safety net.